Hello and welcome to the show, and today I'm going to be talking about NXT Halloween Havoc. This was the most recent NXT Premium Live event, and this is the first Premium Live event of NXT under its fifth rebranding under the Black and White era. This took place from Hershey, Pennsylvania at the Giant Center. Let's talk about it. Before getting into an actual show, two things I want to talk about. Number one, I am very happy that NXT started announcing hometowns again. I don't know why they stopped announcing hometowns to begin with. To me, that really took away from entrances, so I'm really glad that they started doing it again. And secondly, I want to give a massive round of applause to Shawn Michaels and the WWE creative team for getting rid of those NXT championship belts with those blue and pink color streaks. I hated when those were redesigned for 2.0. The new NXT championships, they're black, white, and gold. To me, they're a significant improvement. However, when you compare them to the belts we had during peak black and gold from 2017 through 2021, they to me are not as good but much better than the ones we had during 2.0. Let's get into the actual match card. Show started off with Tony D'Angelo versus Oba Femi. This was a TLC match for the NXT North American Championship, but it was gimmicked under the Halloween Havoc name, so instead of tables, ladders, and chairs, it was tables, ladders, and scares. I hate gimmicked names. They're just so cringe. Tony D'Angelo did beat Oba Femi to become the new North American Champion. This took place on an episode of NXT, and well, that proved me wrong because I've stated on a couple of my reviews that I could see Oba Femi remaining the NXT champion for the entirety of 2024. Oba Femi did become the longest reigning NXT North American champion of all time during this reign, and he lost the belt almost immediately afterwards, so I'm assuming they just wanted him to have that record before dropping the championship. This match was very good. This was a very fun match, much better than the match they had at No Mercy. The no disqualification element did enhance this match, and I also like that this match was decided via pinfall instead of climbing the ladder and retrieving the championship. Tony D'Angelo, he attacked Oba Femi during the ring introductions. Family came out towards the end of this match to try and make the save. D'Angelo was zip-tied to the bottom turnbuckle. On the ring apron, Adriano Rizzo wanted to attack Oba Femi using the crowbar, but he countered and took the crowbar away. Tony D'Angelo speared him through a ladder. That was a very nice spot. Back in the ring, Tony D'Angelo won this match with a spine buster through the table. That was an awesome moment and the right decision. Tony D'Angelo, long overdue for a singles championship in my opinion. Glad he's finally getting his time as a champion, and hopefully he's got a decent championship reign. Oba Femi, there were rumors going around that he is main roster bound and he could make his debut on the main roster pretty soon. Personally, I think Oba Femi, he did a great job in NXT. I do think he could be a solid NXT champion. However, if they've got plans for him on the main roster, I think he's going to be a force to be reckoned with on Raw or SmackDown, wherever they put him. This was a very enjoyable match. I really enjoyed this. Very good opener, and moving on. Up next, we had a women's tag team match. Roxanne Perez and Cora Jade versus Stephanie Vaquer and Julia. Julia and Stephanie Vaquer, two of WWE's biggest signings for 2024. Very high profile. This made the news all over the wrestling world. This was very good. In my opinion, this was the best match of the night. This was excellent. Cora Jade made a return after being out of action for months due to injury. That set up this tag team match after Perez defended the championship against Julia, but Perez retained due to interference from Jade. This match was very good. I really enjoyed this. There was a segment in the match where Julia and Vaquer were hitting headbutts on Jade and Perez. This led to Jade and Perez hitting double super kicks to the outside of the ring, and then Cora Jade hit a coffin drop on everyone. For the closing sequence, Julia hit a double underhook suplex from the top rope, and then Stephanie Vaquer hit a beautiful twisting moonsault for the win. Stephanie Vaquer pins Roxanne Perez and wins this match for the team. Stephanie Vaquer, to me, was the MVP of this match. She delivered a fantastic performance, and her moveset, her athleticism, athleticism, her entrance, the theme music, everything. Stephanie Vaquer, in my opinion, is going to take the NXT women's division to that next level. And if it's me, after what happened here, I would 100% have Stephanie Vaquer defeat Roxanne Perez for the NXT women's championship. With Julia and Cora Jade, that's going to be interesting to see where these two go moving forward and how they're intertwined with this storyline. Who knows, maybe we get a fatal four-way match out of this. Post-match, Zarya stares down at the women in this match from the audience. Don't really know who Zarya is, but interested to see how she's booked because she definitely made an impact on this show. This match was very good. Match of the night in my opinion. Stephanie Vaquer was the MVP. This was excellent. Up next, we had Andre Chase versus Ridge Holland. This was an ambulance match, and I use that term loosely because the ambulance here was unlike any other ambulance I had ever seen in my entire life. Story behind this match, Ridge Holland turned on Chase University after losing the Tag Team Championships back to Nathan Frazier and Axiom. This match, to me, personally, felt more like a TV match than a PLE match. If this happened to open or close an episode of NXT, it would have been great, but on a premium live event, this just felt lacking, in my opinion. Also, not really a big fan of ambulance matches. I much rather prefer seeing Last Man Standing or I Quit. I'm not a big fan of ambulance matches. I really don't like this gimmick. Andre Chase played up the Halloween Havoc gimmick. He came out wearing a Freddy Krueger-esque shirt. Chase got some revenge on Ridge Holland. He hit that DDT on the announce table. A stretcher was introduced in this match, but a lot of the offense involving the stretcher looked very weak. It felt like there was no impact whenever the stretcher was used. The crowd was chanting, "We want pumpkins," and Ridge Holland grabbed a pumpkin, and as he was about to use it, Andre Chase countered it. He grabbed the pumpkin and used it on Ridge Holland, so the crowd went wild for that. Chase hit a dive off of the ambulance. Ridge Holland, he catapulted Andre Chase on the ambulance door. That looked vicious, and he threw Andre Chase into the ambulance for the win. Wasn't really impressed with this match. This felt like it belonged on NXT television. This was alright, nothing great, nothing overly good, but to me, this match just existed. And moving on to the next match, which coincidentally, in my opinion, I also felt had very little substance to it. Gauntlet match for the NXT Women's North American Championship. Kelani Jordan defending against Fatal Influence, I believe is what their name is. This was a gauntlet match where Kelani Jordan had to defend against each member of this group. I wasn't really impressed with this match. To me, this felt really rushed. This was a gauntlet match that went all of 14 minutes. To me, this could have been spaced out a little more evenly. Kelani Jordan, I don't follow NXT TV weekly. I mostly tune in through YouTube and social media, but Kelani Jordan, when she comes out, is the personification of generic babyface. There is nothing to Kelani Jordan except hi, happy to be here, in my opinion. She's a great athlete, but there is nothing to her character. There's just nothing there, gimmick-wise. So first match was Kelani Jordan versus Jasmine Nix. This went about 3.5 minutes. Kelani Jordan wins with a 450 splash, which looked great. JC Jane came in next, and she lost via pinfall. This was an okay back and forth between these two, nothing overly special. Post-match, Jane hits a forearm shot on Jordan, and Fallon Henley comes in for the final match. This to me was the best of the 3 matches in this gauntlet. There were a few impressive spots. Closing sequence saw Fallon Henley get the knees up to counter a 450 splash after distractions from Fatal Attraction or Fatal Influence or whatever their name is. She capitalizes and wins. Fallon Henley is the new NXT Women's North American Champion, second ever champion. NXT has done a decent job at establishing the value of the Women's North American Championship. It's been regularly featured on their major events and has been defended consistently, which is a good job at establishing the belt's value. Post-match, Zarya comes down to the ring and takes out all of Fatal Influence. Didn't really enjoy this match. To me, this and the ambulance match were the 2 weakest matches of the night. They just existed. That was basically it. Fallon Henley wins. She is the new NXT Women's North American Champion. Well, moving on to our main event. For the NXT Championship, Trick Williams versus Ethan Page in a no disqualification Stipulation Falls Count Anywhere match. Trick Williams defeated Ethan Page on their debut episode on the CW with CM Punk as the special guest referee, and that set up this rematch. And I will say this is the second singles match between Ethan Page and Trick Williams on a major NXT event, and the fourth match on a major event with these two involved in the same match. I am completely over the Ethan Page Trick Williams feud. I thought this was over. I thought this should have ended on that premiere CW episode. I don't know why they decided to continue with this feud and are still continuing with this feud, but I am completely over Ethan Page versus Trick Williams. Both men, in my opinion, should move on to other feuds. This feud has long overstayed as well. Ethan Page attacked Trick Williams during the introductions. There was a great spot where Ethan Page hit Ego's Edge on Trick Williams through the announce table. That was excellent, one of the best spots of the night. Back into the ring, Ethan Page slammed Trick on the steel steps. Page then tried to use the steps again, but Trick Williams countered with a rock bottom that was very impressive. Ethan Page then hit a low blow and slapped Trick Williams. Trick Williams then hit a low blow of his own, and he hit him with a shot of the steel steps, and finally the Trick shot for the win. Post-match, Ridge Holland comes in to attack Trick Williams. Ethan Page joins in for the beatdown, and then Bubba Ray Dudley comes out from the crowd because he was in attendance for that pre-show panel thing that they have. He came out to make the save, and he and Trick Williams stand tall to close out Halloween Havoc. This match with Ethan Page and Trick Williams, I enjoyed it a lot more than their match at NXT Battleground. The no DQ Falls Count Anywhere stipulation definitely enhanced it. This match had the right outcome. With as over as Trick Williams is, he is definitely being billed as the face of NXT in this relaunch era. So he's definitely the guy on NXT right now. Ethan Page, with the experience that he has, he could easily be called up to the main roster and fit in perfectly over there. He's a solid wrestler and he can cut very good promos. He can definitely fit in on the main roster. I'm not sure where the NXT Championship goes moving forward. Ridge Holland, I mean, he could be a decent enough opponent for Trick Williams, but I don't think Ridge Holland is ready to be a world champion. Overall, NXT Halloween Havoc, this was a pretty mid show. Like, if I was to grade this show on a scale of 1 to 10, it would definitely be about a 5.5 to 6, around that range. The first two matches were very enjoyable, and the tag team match with the women was very good. This was one of WWE's weaker shows for the year, in my opinion. Not a bad show, but just, like, the show existed, is what I can say about it. That's just the way some shows end up being. They're not bad, they're not good, they're in the middle of the road. And that is all for today. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to hit like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. You can follow me on Instagram at Saeed_2000, and I'll catch you on the next one. Till then, take care.